Alright, so welcome back to another episode of Max and Howard Drink Beer. I am Max.
And I am Howard.
Howard, what are we chewing on today?
Well, Max, we have a Central Waters Brewing Company beer, and it's a one of those discount beers that we like to get so much because it's more fun to drink discount beer, I think.
Well, it's nice to try something different.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to sort through all of the I guess, crap, so to speak, and just see what's good and what's bad and what you can drink, what you can pass, and stuff you already know because you've listened to this show a couple of times already. But, Max, what we're drinking today, it's a Ouisconsing Red Ale, and it's spelled Ouisconsing.
It actually explains it right here.
It does?
Yeah, it says, with its mellow malty flavor and subtle flowery nose, Ouisconsin Red gets its name from the Algonquin word for the Wisconsin River, or Redstone River, featuring a range of caramel malts and a mild biscuit sweetness and warm, rich mahogany color. That's right, Colin. Mahogany.
Wow. I'm glad you read that. I can't read, so it's nice to have that guy reading here. That's cool.
Yeah, right.
What is interesting about this beer is like I said, the spelling is all weird. That's actually French for Wisconsin, so that's pretty cool. It helps to know Latin. I know Latin, but I can't read. So yeah, that's cool. Max, you're taking your first sips. I'm about to have my first sip. Max, what are you thinking about the beer so far?
Well, it's a red ale. You know how I feel about ales. I don't know why I keep buying them. To keep trying them because I'm not really a huge ale fan. It's got that aftertaste of bitterness. That I'm not a huge fan of. It won't stop me from drinking the beer, but I feel weird about that. Like you're still chewing on something after it's gone, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. There is definitely a bitter aftertaste to it. What I think is interesting, red ales are not exactly what you would expect. You think more citrusy, more fruity with a red ale. No, you got to think like sunset. You're drinking a sunset here,
right?
And that's what they're kind of going after. It's very malty, it's very warm, it's a very dark beer, but it's not to the point where, it's amber,
right.
So it's a red ale, it's a little lighter than an amber ale, it's still got the hops to that, I'm always like weirded out by red ales because they're never ever what you expect. No matter what you go in expecting to have with a red ale, it's never what you think. So that's exactly what this is. This is a lot hoppier than what I would think, but there's still that malted taste to it. So it is a pretty interesting beer. I mean, yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that I'd consider drinking again.
Would you drink it while you're playing beer games, drinking games?
Well, I'm glad you say that because I was actually I was telling Steve the other day the story about this. I went off to college to the faraway land of Milwaukee.
Oh yeah,
but
that's French too.
But every one of my friends was terrified of the area at the time.
I still am.
So
yeah.
So I was at UW Milwaukee pretty much by myself.
Right.
So I had to make some new friends down there, and ended up getting invited to some house parties. As
nice.
College places have.
Right.
And there's actually a really fun story I'm gonna segue from. One of my musician friends, you know him. Bill House.
Oh, okay.
We actually went to college at the same time. I was at a house party of his shortly after he just got his brand new pedal board. And some couple went into his room and spilled drinks all over brand new pedal board.
No.
We're talking probably thousands of dollars.
Yeah. On the low end.
And so he is just flipping out, losing his shit.
I don't blame him.
You know, meanwhile, here I am, just some random guy at a party, hanging out, drinking. He screams at tons of people. Everybody leaves. Ended up hanging out a little bit later, taking some shots with it. And that was it. After that, I never saw him again up until like 5 years ago.
Wow.
You know, so we're talking 7 or 8 years in between meetings. And we meet again, and he's sitting there, and he's telling this story. And I get this big grin on my face. He's like, dude, what's the grin for? I'm like, dude, I was there. He's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, dude, I was there. You know, before we had our great beards, I was at the party, and I told him, let me finish telling the story. So I finished telling him the story, and he's like, dude, how do you know that? I was there. Okay. Bill, I was at your party. You know, so that's always a fun segue from that.
Yeah, that's always a good origin
every
story.
time myself and Bill drink together, it comes up that, hey, we met once before, went back before we did any music or anything. You know, and we had a party together. So there's that, but we played not at this party of his, but there was another house that I would go to, and we would play a crazy drinking game called True American. Okay? So True American is a basically you make a live action board game where you walk across couches and tables and cushions because the floor is lava. So,
oh man.
So if you can imagine that while you're drinking, you know, that it is just an outrageous game from that aspect because you're trying to stand on something.
Right.
So at any point, if your foot falls off and you touch the ground, well, you're dead. You're out. So in order to come back in from the game, at least the rules we played, you had to shotgun a new beer.
You had to shotgun a new beer.
Shotgun a beer.
Oh.
So the game obviously has its own house rules and everything, but just to give you an understanding of it, you make like there's a table in the middle where you build the castle. Okay, the castle has a bottle of liquor in it surrounded by pawns that are beers.
Okay.
So, you know, obviously a can of beer is better because a glass beer is going to hit the ground. Could break.
Well, a can could break too if you're rough enough.
You know, so the castle has that. You divide the board into like 4 sections, basically. You following me so far, Howard? Your eyes look like they're glazing over a little bit here.
I'm not a big games guy, but go ahead.
You know, so the object of the game is to move around the board and removing beers from the middle, and then, you know, like each row, and once you've drank all your beers,
okay,
you get back, you finish your beer, and you take a swig off the bottle, and that's how you win.
What bottle?
The liquor bottle.
That's the one that's in the middle? That's the castle?
That's in the middle of the castle.
Okay.
So,
you take a swig out of the bottle. Man,
yep.
I can't feel my legs as it is, you know?
So,
that's your favorite game?
I love playing it because it's completely outrageous. So there's a few things with it. You got to have some level of thought to it. If you don't know your U.S. history, and somebody else does, you could be in for a world of hurt the whole game.
Okay.
But I'll explain that to you a little bit later. So, the game starts off. Each player grabs a beer, you know, and you shotgun a beer.
Okay.
To start the game, the contestants yell 1, 2, 3, JFK, and they each point to another player and yell.
That stands for just fucking kidding?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes. And then you point at each other, yell FDR, and then get onto a spot. So as you're getting to your spot, you have to grab a new beer from your shotgun beer you have finished is gone, and now you have a beer as you're standing on spots.
Okay.
Make sense?
So the beer that you had is now shotgunned with the shotgunning tool and all.
So right, so you're through a beer already. Your shotgun beer is gone that started the game.
Okay.
You now have your traveling beer.
Okay.
That's a pawn.
And
So
you can't shotgun a glass beer, so that's why it's canned beer.
that's why it's canned beer. Right.
Okay.
So you can... I have played where we drank liquor, but you had cans to shotgun.
Okay.
And then there was stuff there.
Oh, man.
You getting confused yet? So
no,
now...
it's not so much confused as I'm already out, by the way.
So
I will be busy those nights that we play that game.
So then it gets a little bit crazier. There are three different ways to move, right?
Okay.
So the most common way to move is called the count. All players yell 1, 2, 3 and hold up a number between 1 and 5 against their forehead.
Okay.
Anyone holding a number that no one else has is the winner.
Okay.
So if we do it 1, 2, 3 and I go like this and nobody else is holding up a 2, I get to move a spot. If somebody else has your number, you don't. So you're staying still. So the problem is now you're not moving spots,
right,
and you're drinking your beer. So if at any point that beer runs empty, and somebody calls you out on it, you're out. You have to shotgun a new beer to get back into the game.
Okay.
Okay? The next one is completing a quote, is what it's called.
Completing a quote.
Right, so the player will slowly speak a quote from history or pop culture, and any other player that is able to jump in and complete the quote in tandem with them wins.
Friends, Romans, countrymen?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So if you go that, you get 2 spots.
Okay.
So as you move around, obviously you see, okay, I'm getting low on beer, I got to move some spots here.
Okay.
So you go for it. The always interesting one is something in common. So a player yells out 2 people, places, or things, and any player who can tell you what these 2 things have in common wins.
They win the whole game?
Well, so for that movement round. So that winning thing is 3 spots.
Okay.
You know, so if you can get creative, which we have some friends that would be awful to play this game with.
Yeah.
Morgan in particular,
Yeah,
I feel like would be
probably
undefeated at this game.
I already lost 3 times over. We're not
you
even
can move. So you move around the game. Obviously, after all the pawns have been removed, the king is now vulnerable. So the first person to land on one of the center spaces on either side finishes their beer, takes a swing from the king, which is the bottle of liquor.
Swing from the king.
And you win.
Okay.
So that's the variation of the game. It gets pretty hectic pretty quick. You know, but you got to have space because it's a multiple area kind of thing. My house can't take it.
Neither of them. Neither of your houses.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Oh, man. You want to know what? I like to sit around, and I like to bullshit, and I like to drink. You know, I don't like any of this funny business. You know, I hate it. And you guys love the games. They're all about what's the one with the beer can in the middle, and it's got the deck of cards.
There's a
question master.
Yeah, there's a couple variations on it. We call it Circle of Death.
Circle of Death. That's the one.
I believe it also goes by the name of King's Cup. And I think there's another name. So it's the same game, the same rules. Obviously, there's house rules for each card.
Yeah.
You know, but that's one of the things, like you said, as Morgan goes specifically, he loves to be the question master.
Oh, man. See, that's too much. Too much. I don't mind playing a little bit of cards, you know. We were playing, what was it? We were playing spoons. During St. Patrick's Day. That was pretty cool. That was fine. We did a little bit of sorry guys, coronavirus. We did a little bit of what was it? Beer pong. We did some beer pong. That was cool. And then they started getting into like, hey, everybody's got a beer can. You got to throw the ball against the beer can. You got to drink it as quickly as you can.
Drunk ball.
Come on, man. Let's just drink. We'll shoot the shit. If you run out of shit to talk about, you should probably go home. You know, I'm not again, and it's Probably because I'm fat and I'm lazy and I'm crippled and I'm gay. I don't like doing that stuff. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. Beer pong, a little bit different. Maybe it's just because I'm better at beer pong. Because I am the man when it comes to beer pong.
Are you?
But, the board games we played the other day, that's fine. I don't mind that.
Yep.
We're bullshitting a little bit, something to do. We don't have to drink faster than the other one. I like to enjoy my beer and bullshit.
Yeah, we're pretty bad for it, I mean, with my college days and Sam's college days of everything, I mean, we used to play a lot of Flip Cup.
Oh yeah, Flip Cup. Right.
We were notorious. I mean, even when the last time I went up to La Crosse for Oktoberfest,
right?
People were like, "Oh, you don't have a team. That's okay. I'll go down and back before you guys finish."
Wow.
So I'd take on like 4 people, and I'd have 8 cups, and everybody be sitting here and they'd be freaking out trying to flip the cup, and it's not about that. It's a calm under pressure kind of thing.
Right.
So you drink, you set the cup down, and
right.
You tip it over. If you get anxious, you
lose. It starts getting a little squirrely.
So we did that. Back in the early days of Box Horde, we drink at the garage.
Right.
And that's where we played many games of beer pong.
Yeah, beer pong's
and
cool.
I used to play Forrest in a gentleman's game,
okay.
which was no heating up, no balls back, no rules.
Yeah.
You get 2 balls. You have to hit the cups in order.
Oh.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all other rules are gone. So if I throw the ball and it bounces off of him and comes back to me, I hand him the ball.
They don't count.
It was a gentleman's game.
Okay.
So
that's kind of fun.
So that was the way we played one game back in my heyday. And I went, okay, here's my first turn, throw, okay, here's 1 and 2. He shoots, okay, here's my next turn, here's 3 and 4.
Right.
And I went all the way down in 5 turns. And Forrest got hammered.
Yeah.
And he had never lost a game at his house at that point. He repaid me a couple years later while we were camping and just buried me the same way. And he goes, "I've been practicing."
And
yes. It was a lot of fun because after that we usually played as a team.
Yeah. Yes.
So when the 2 of us are playing, it was just like, here you go.
It's good to get that teammate, that's just Wyatt or in the pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just dunks them all the time, That's the best.
So, I mean, there was a lot of fun. There was a lot of, bullshit house rules.
Right. That's the worst. I just want to play.
That we'd run into anywhere when we'd go somewhere else and be like, fine, go ahead. You got 5 turns to beat us. Go ahead, I dare you.
Yeah. Right.
And everybody get all pissed off, and then house rules would get created against us, and then we'd still win. But it was a lot of fun. That's how it is. It's I'm a competitive person.
Right.
And drinking definitely doesn't help my level of competitiveness.
Yeah. No, it's not my. I like to drive home. That's just my thing. That's the most important thing at the end of the day.
We had one game back when I was, younger in college. We were at some party of my dad's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And they're older, and they talked him into playing beer pong. He's never played before. And,
wow.
So he was like, "Come on, Max, I need you to show me how to play this game." So I go there with him, and I go, "Okay, Dad, so all of your drills through all of your years of how to throw a ball," I go, "your elbow can't cross the edge of the table. You can bounce it, but they can swat it, because that was the house rules." I said, "But just throw it in the cup." He goes, "Oh, like this?" And it goes in. And then mine goes in, and they go, "Oh, well, you guys both make them. Here you go, have the balls back." And he goes, "Oh, so it's our turn still?" I go, "Yeah, if we both make them again, then we get them back again."
Right.
He goes, "Oh, well, let's do that. That'll be easy." So I throw mine goes in, and he does it too, and he's like, "This is an easy game." It's like no, Dad. For most people, it's not.
Right.
The other team didn't even get to play.
Right. Yep.
Because we made them twice.
Right.
Okay, and then my dad made his third one, which meant he was on fire, so he got to shoot till he missed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game was over because he made the rest of the cups.
Right, and then that last cup, you have to shoot in the cup 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times, before you finally lose. And then those guys, they get their cup. But if they make it in a cup, then you have to keep shooting.
Yeah, so it was
some shit. It changes every single game, and oh man.
Right. That's why, like I said, when me and Forrest played, and I think the last time we did maybe was one of our flag holidays here.
Yes.
We play gentlemen's rules. No nonsense, no trick shots, no balls back, no,
Yeah,
any of it.
I'd like to do that, in just any old way, but I do like that you guys do it in order. Do front to back or back to front? Do you switch it up? That sounds like fun.
But that adds to it. So when you play that way, if you shoot and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get 6, sorry, that didn't count.
All right.
So it's just that variation on the game. It made the game an extra level of challenge, at least for us, because we were playing 3 times a week for hours.
Yes.
When you get to a certain point of that, you feel like you're unstoppable, and now you play like I do, and I just feel old. I used to be able to do this, you damn whippersnappers.
I still got it. Just saying. I was hot on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But any other game, really? We're going to chase a little ping pong ball around? Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, drunk ball.
And then the floor is lava? Count me out. I'm so out on that. You don't even have to explain it. Oh, hey, by the way, the floor is lava. Okay, see ya. Going home. I'll drink beer at home.
Hey, it is what it is.
Hey.
Like I said, some people like...
And that's why you have a lot more friends than I do. Such is life.
Well, like I said, it's a different variation on everything, I think just from where you went to college versus where I did.
Yeah, that's true.
And when I was at college, I was stranded there.
Yeah, I was very much do my time and get out.
So what am I going to do? My last class was on Friday at 10. So by 11 o'clock, I was free till Tuesday when my next class started. What am I going to do? Well,
I don't know.
You're in Wisconsin. I partied.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, Howard, now that we detoured enough, what do you think of this beer?
It's one of those beers that, it's I on my rating scale, if it's on sale, it's on the discount card or it's on sale at the bar, I'll buy it again. It's not something I'd go out of my way for. I'm not a red ale guy because, like I said, you don't have that idea of what to expect. So this might be really good for somebody that is into it. It is a really well-made beer, and it's still, like Steve says, it still tastes like a beer.
It does still taste like a beer.
So if you like a good beer and you can like a good malty beer, this would be a good beer for you. For me, it's not my thing.
Yep. No, I agree. I don't think in any way, shape, or form would I buy this again.
Right. Yeah, and again, I try to avoid red ales in general. Just because I had it the one time, it was an Irish red ale or something like that, and it was just bland. It was a bland beer. There's nothing fancy about this. This is a better tasting beer. Mm-hmm. It tastes good.
Oh, it's made by people who drink beer.
Right, which is good. You don't want beer that's made by people that don't drink beer.
All right, well, Howard, on that note, my beer is getting low.
All right.
So we're going to wrap it up here for everybody back at home. Thanks for listening today. My name is still Max.
And I'm still Howard.
And you've just listened to Max and Howard drink beer. Cheers.
Cheers.